You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
All right, look at we are on time. It's amazing.
Oh, are we?
You are. You're listening to the Hemp Connoisseur Radio. Joining me as always is the lovely Samantha Walsh, and I'm David Madalena.
Hi, I'll take credit for us being on time.
You're taking credit.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. She's taking credit.
I just feel like it.
Okay.
I feel
our guest is not on time, but that's because he was picking up one of the other guests that we have tonight from the airport, and he's on his way here.
Oh, interesting.
So we will be joined by Ryan Connolly, the owner of Grassroots California. We've had them on in the past. They're promoting the 710 Cup, which is coming up in July. It is a first concentrate-focused cup that is going on. Obviously, we have ours, but ours is focused kind of on everything. But some interesting hemp news going on.
Interesting
right now,
hemp
Samantha.
news going on.
Yeah.
So we start with the first one that's completely breaking that nobody knows about.
Let's start with the first one that's completely breaking that nobody knows about. I think that's exciting.
So I know last week we talked about the hemp amendment onto the Farm Bill.
Yes.
And
we
that,
did.
Unfortunately, the Farm Bill died. But we're
Yes.
still
Nothing
pushing.
to do with the hemp amendment.
Nothing to do with the hemp. Well, you never know.
Well,
but
yeah.
we would like to assume it was mostly due to the SNAP program and the fact that like Republicans hate feeding children. So
I'm sure Joe would have something contrary to say on that one.
Poor Joe. If Joe's listening right now, it's true. You hate children.
Yep. We can say that, Joe, because you're not able to speak
I know.
about this
He's
right
not
now.
able to talk back, which is the best kind of Republican, the kinds that can't talk back. So, anyways, we when Representative Polis was up at the podium speaking about how awesome hemp is and how we need to, as a country, to get behind a big research push on this because honestly, this crop hasn't grown in abundance in the United States since the 40s.
Yes.
And we don't know how it's going to grow in Colorado. We don't know how it's going to grow in Kansas. I mean, yes, I know. I hear this argument all the time. Well, it's a weed. It can grow anywhere. Well, when you have over 25,000 different uses for a product, you have to know what kind of, cultivar you're going to grow for the plastics and what kind of cultivar you're going to grow for the seed oil. Yep. So this would be best funded, by research and people who know what they're doing. And so when he was at the podium speaking, he was carrying with him a flag, an American flag made out of hemp that was shipped to him actually by me. I paid for that overnight shipping.
You did.
I did. And he was, speaking with it, and someone's trying to get rid of a bunch of dogs on a chair right now. It's kind of chaos.
They're vicious dogs.
I love chaos.
Yes.
And so he was, he had his hemp flag in the hand, in hand while speaking about the amendment. This was provided by Rocky Mountain Hemp Association, which is a great trade organization that's doing a lot of good activist work.
Yes.
And especially with Mike Bowman. Mike Bowman was integral into all this. And so Mike Bowman was at the Capitol. And so we are going to have that very same hemp flag flown over the United States Capitol on July 4th.
Nice.
I know.
That's
Isn't
awesome.
that very exciting?
So, it's over the Capitol, so we're kind of like the flag for July 4th.
We are, our hemp flag, our Colorado grown hemp flag is going to be flown over the United States Capitol on July 4th. And then we're going to go on a mission, a little road trip, to have it flown over every state capital where that state has legalized or paved the way for hemp to be grown in their state. So, New Hampshire, Vermont, North Dakota.
Yes, and I'm proud of all those states for doing that, but I said this before, we're the only state.
We're the only state,
we don't care what the federal government says.
We don't, but we want to show some support to those states.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say they have one cojones. They don't have cojones, right?
No.
Yeah.
But I think the goal being that we're going to have this flag flown over every state that has positive hemp legislation on the books.
Yes.
And then if you feel that that's something that you could support, I encourage you to look up Rocky Mountain Hemp Association and maybe throw them a couple dollars or something.
Right.
To,
Is there
help
a
that
follow
charity.
the flag site?
I don't know, but that's a good idea. We should totally do that.
You should totally do that.
I know. Will you do that for me?
No.
Oh. I don't.
I just come up with the ideas. I don't want to do the
you
work
don't.
for
I know.
them.
That's how I am, a big picture person.
Yeah.
Can we make the intern do it that you just hired?
Which one?
I don't. You hired more?
Yeah, we have a few.
Let's make one of the interns.
No.
Yes, that's an intern job. That's a perfect intern job.
Well, there's actually very specific rules on internship that I'm following, where it has to be educational.
That is educational. They're creating a map.
Well, it has to be educational in the field that they're an intern for.
which is
So we don't have a
Is it
topography intern.
well,
so
it's not a
kinda
topography
difficult.
intern. You just need someone who's going to be doing. They're creating a website.
Okay, maybe I'll get you an intern, and then you can have them do whatever random things you want to do.
Okay, I would love to have interns. I love bossing interns around.
I'm sure
I
you
do.
I'm sure you do.
I like the power.
Anybody who loves to get coffee and wants somebody. to
No,
come
I
in
don't
to-
make my interns get coffee, but
Okay.
I do make them file.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
learn
what we're
things. Also learn things. So if
And
you want to
also
be my
learn things.
intern, it's a lot of fun.
Okay,
And
so
beer.
our guest just joined us
yes.
actually,
Hi,
so we
guests.
should actually mention and welcome them. So we have Ryan Connolly from Grassroots California and the organizer of the 710 Cup, and then as well we have joining us. I'm sorry, I don't know your full name.
Dougie.
Dougie. Well, okay, that was simple. I knew that part. Dougie. We've never met Dougie though, so this
nice
is like
to
our
meet
first
you,
time.
man.
Nice to meet you. Hey, it's happening
Dougie.
as we
Pleasure.
speak. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. nice to
So
meet you.
welcome. I know you just flew in.
I just got here
Where are you-
noon. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us. We've already talked with Ryan, so we're going to ignore you for a second. No, just kidding. But we want to talk a little bit about you, Dougie. So, what's your background?
Originally from Boston, Massachusetts.
Where in Boston?
Um,
The real
I
town.
grew up when I was little in Harvard Square. My family moved to
right from Cambridge.
Lexington,
Middlesex
outside,
County.
Yeah.
I'm from Reading, Mass.
Nice, man.
So we used to
Awesome,
compete.
dude.
Yeah.
So, moved to Lexington with my family, and then went to college down at UMass Dartmouth.
Nice. Very
And
cool.
after I didn't graduate college, kind of just went into that little hustle mode and
Gotcha.
went on tour and met Ryan.
What'd you go on tour for?
Wait, yeah, tour? Are you
Basically,
a pop
like
singer?
we'd go on. That's
Did you just say pop singer?
Well, his name was Dougie, and I was gonna make it
No,
teach
I'm
me
not
how to
in a
Dougie
boy
joke.
band.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
so
yeah.
we would just go travel and follow music festival, like go to different music
Okay,
festivals
gotcha.
and do the whole little like vending at those events.
Got you. And
that's
you're
when
vending
I-
your glass.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes.
I was vending other people's glass, and
Right.
I started vending, selling glass jars. This is before I I had bought a pipe that I owned,
Right.
but like not from any artist or glass
Right.
blower, and so that was kind of. I started selling jars and met some pipe makers,
Mm-hmm.
and in Boston, pipes were very expensive.
Sure.
And,
Everything's expensive in Boston.
absolutely.
So let's be honest.
And I guess
found
it was
that too?
2006 maybe or whatever. Hash oil. I got introduced to concentrates from
In
one
Boston?
of my glass blowing friends. Yeah.
Interesting.
And he gave me a dab, and I pretty much stood outside his shop and coughed for 45 minutes, and went back in and asked for another one before I got on the road. And
Right.
Let's be honest, was that fro?
it actually was.
Same with my first name.
Yeah, absolutely. See, Michael's played a crucial role in my development. But yeah, so since at the moment where I got introduced to hash, we couldn't get any of the attachments or domes or any of that gear per se. Especially on the East Coast, it was so hard to get that stuff.
Right, right.
And so I met a lot of these glass blowers at these different festivals and started buying their cases of glass and establishing just like a standard business relationship when I'd go drive up to Maine, cash out a bunch of artists on their cases and what they made that week, bring it back to Boston, either sell it to a head shop or sell it just locally to friends, you know?
Sure.
And it was a really fun hustle and grind, and I got out there and traveled and did that for a few years, and at that point just kind of we started Hitman in Maine.
Yep.
I was
And that is, I'm sorry, we didn't mention your company. It's Hitman Glass.
Hitman
right?
Glass, yes. So I started in Maine after I met Steve Bates, who is a glass blower from up there. I met him at Gathering of the Vibes.
Is that
music
your
festival.
piece right there?
This is a torch bong. It's a very unique pipe. I don't have a...
But is that
Basically-
you? You made that?
This is my design, this recycler design here on the
Yeah,
top.
hold that up for the camera.
Well,
That's
he's
all
got the
I was-
camera on it, right?
He's got it. That's all I was curious
This is
about.
an
There
all-in-one
it is.
hash pipe. So basically, this is
Impressive.
That thing's
Hitman's
insane.
very well known for, and it was a design that Steve Bates, who actually lives in Colorado now, originally came up with the glass torch idea, and he
So-
brought the first glass torch prototype to my house.
So what are
And,
these guys here?
So what this is the concept is, instead of holding your blowtorch, like,
Right.
sitting there
Right.
With your hand up, this has a tank for butane fuel made out of glass in the bottom. So this is a separate tank. If you look when I move it around, there's liquid
Right.
in the bottom. That's butane fuel. And then there's a separate pipe on the top. So
you got to be careful you put it in the right hole, otherwise that could be
That's
nasty.
what she said.
Oh.
It had to be done.
You had to say
it had to be done.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Usually it's me, but yeah. Okay.
Or Dougie.
Or Dougie.
Actually, I'm all about that. That's what she said. For sure. So, so basically, Steve brought the first just glass torch to my house.
Right.
It was winter time, and he didn't have heat in his car. And so he got to my house. He's like, "This thing works great in the car." And Steve's just his own
We do
kind
not
of
We do
condone
not,
that.
Disclaimer.
and he was but not even. He wasn't smoking. You
Right.
know, he was using it to warm up. In
Right,
the
I
car.
understand.
It's
He was.
Yeah,
That was his
no,
car
no.
heat.
Steve wasn't. No, he
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
smoking.
Sure
I don't
he
know if he was
wasn't.
or not.
Yeah,
That's on
yeah,
him.
yeah.
But he was more using it to heat up the car. It's like
Gotcha.
a heating
That's funny.
element, which was funny. You know?
So, I mean, we have to see how this works. Is
You
it
do.
good to
So-
go? I mean, you don't have to
It is.
go ahead and
So
dab or
and
anything.
I'll
I'm
show
sure,
you how
but-
it's filled after the fact, after
Sure.
we use it a little bit. So when I open this valve here, you
totally hear that valve,
butane
can't you?
fuel coming out, and it's
Right.
coming out through this little
Right.
jet here. So I light the.
Is the camera on that? Okay.
Now, how long does this have to go on? Just like any other torch, you're just looking,
Yeah, I mean,
10 to 20
basically,
seconds or
like,
so,
It's
and-
responsive to how
and you turn it up.
much-
Holy crap, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's great.
Did you just fly in tonight?
I just flew in right
today?
Recently,
Tonight.
today.
Yeah.
We had to take him to Hood Lab.
Oh, yeah.
They would
Sure.
fall all over
Adam's
themselves
would.
with
They
that.
totally would.
dude. I love Adam, man. So
That's a really cool design. I mean, that's one of the things that I think. I mean, I'm not a huge dabber personally, anyway, because I purposely keep my tolerance low, and that will destroy that.
hey, respect to you for your choices.
Yeah, but but one of the things I would say is a complaint about dabbing is it's like there's so much stuff you gotta have with you and to get it ready.
Right.
And I love that you've
It's all about the
eliminated that.
timing too.
It is.
You know, and thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate it.
And yeah, I love that this is all in one. It's a really ingenious design. Oh,
She wants a good picture.
gotta take a picture of that.
Yeah, so
That's-
Steve really came up with the conceptual part, and basically one of Steve's friends here. Let me just
Go for it.
ahead and take
Yeah,
this
yeah.
dab real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Steve came up with the conceptual part of it, and that's what Steve's really good at is like doing something different, and doing something like thinking outside the box. And,
Sure.
To be honest, it was pretty crazy to attempt this.
No, this is a crazy like I said, I've
it
never
has
seen anything like this. I'm
unbelievable
sure.
energy. So what happened was, Steve at no point desired to be a workhorse in response to like making the same item over and over again.
Right.
That was never what he wanted to do.
He
likes
wanted to
be
keep making originals
different
and-
stuff.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and like so his friend from back at Scientific Glassblowing School called Salem in New Jersey, his friend Ari, he introduced Ari to me back in like 2007, after he came up with this, or right as he came up with this. And Ari has been reproducing torch tubes for Hitman Glass and for me and Steve.
How long does it take to produce one of these? Just one piece?
Man, it's very finicky because the distance between where the butane is mixing right here,
Right.
Where it's mixing with oxygen. If this is if it's farther away than that, it'll have a different flame.
Sure.
So it's dialing in. I mean, after obviously over time, you're able to dial it in a little
Right, of
faster
course.
per se, but it's still extremely difficult to like some work right the first time you do it,
Right.
and some take 3 days of this really annoying and every time you work on glass, you have to put it in the kiln.
Right, of course.
Heat everything up to the same temperature,
Right.
or you're creating stress.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's just a really frustrating thing when you're keep trying to tweak it slightly, and it's not working. And
well, because this is interesting. It's like very much more like a machine almost in a way,
exactly.
and it's interesting
and
to see it done by
everyone has a different noise. Every single one has a different sound to that torch. And it's got a really some have like a higher pitch, you know, and it's just that's because of everyone really is unique in itself, you know, and we've really explored a lot of artistic options with this technology. I consider myself blessed and extremely fortunate to be in my shoes to be a catalyst to bring this this art to
are there other companies now that are copying this kind of a design or coming up, or are you guys still the only ones? As of right now,
knock on wood, I feel that I've put extra effort and time into doing these pieces with the right people in the pipe industry. The pipe industry in America is, in the bigger picture, a small, more close-knit industry. And when we started Hitman, we always had a lot of respect for these people we looked up to, and like now I'm working with these people with my business. It's an absolute honor, I just really I'm consider myself very blessed, and I think everybody involved with Hitman Glass considers himself very blessed.
Well, this is cool. We have to go on a break, so we'll be back in just a moment with Ryan from Grassroots and Dougie from Hitman Glass, and we're going to talk more about the 710 Cup as well. And we got to talk about this stash that you're sporting right now, man. It's nice. It's like
it's looking a little rugged.
It's we got this whole retro thing going on. It's cool. It's like we're bringing back the 70s porn. So yeah.
It was a request from my wife.
I see. I gotcha. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in just a few. River Rock Wellness, located at 4935 York Street and on the corner of 6th and Calumet, right next to Lamar's Donuts at 990 West 6th Avenue, offers in-house, award-winning organic medical cannabis flowers, concentrates, tinctures, topicals, edibles, and raw superfoods for all patients. Prices range from $160 to $240 an ounce, with member and non-member benefits including caregiver, SSI, SSDI, vets, travelers, and sponsored programs. With brands you trust like Healthy Creations, Rare Dankness, Rock Butter, Priva, Token Daily, and more. Become a River Rock patient or renew with us today and receive a $100 ounce of choice. Offer good through April 20th, 2013.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
All right, we are back. We'll talk after. All right, so we're here with Ryan from Grassroots California and Dougie from Hitman Glass. And we did we finish our news? I know we kind of interrupted ourselves just to introduce our guests, so I just want to make sure we cover all the news we were supposed to cover.
Wasn't there something else that you were talking about where some kid got in trouble?
This is a headline, so I didn't get to see the whole story yet, but the headline
Should we
was...
Google it?
You can Google it. It's actually it's on Huffington Post Live, and we posted it actually on our Facebook. Well, I didn't post it, so I saw it. I'm like, oh, look what I'm posting on Facebook. Awesome. But it was actually this kid. There's this woman, Diane, I want to say Fornbach, who is the owner of Ladybug magazine, which Ladybug magazine is like kind of like the Hemp Connoisseur. They do a nice upscale kind of version for the cannabis industry, and obviously they're very much focused on the female demographic. And her son was speaking, and again, I'm just speaking about a headlines, but this can definitely stimulate some conversation, I think. Her son was talking about hemp in school, and the school called child services.
For talking about hemp, but not talking about marijuana.
Well, and that, like I said, I didn't see the story, but the headline says hemp, and Huffington Post is very good about understanding the difference between hemp and marijuana. So when they say hemp, I'm like, okay, so they call child services talking about a plant that does not get you high and has just multiple usage. It's like calling child services and the kids talking about cotton. That's the way we look at
But
it.
at the same time, our government still schedules it as
Well,
a Class 1 drug.
you're absolutely right, Ryan. It does. It schedules
So
a
if
Class
our
1 drug.
school system still believe that, then they're just abiding by the stupid rules.
Well, and you're exactly right. And I think what that does is it speaks to the fact of how much ignorance there is out there by the general public on cannabis as a plant, whether
Or
it be
hemp.
that's what I mean. I mean, cannabis as whether it's the marijuana side of the cannabis plant or the hemp side, and the fact that this person's mentioning hemp, and I mean, if he had even, I would just imagine if he was like, well, the Declaration of Independence was drafted on hemp, and then as that's a history lesson in school, but you could be, we're going to call child services because you're talking about hemp, and it's just interesting. It still speaks to the fact of the ignorance, and I think that's what it speaks to me the most about. And I obviously haven't had a chance to check it out, but go to Huffington Post Live if you want, or the link is on our Facebook page, and I'll link you to it. But I find that really fascinating, and it's interesting to think that like schools are still that uneducated.
Oh, it's just terrible.
And I know that you deal with this, Sam, on a regular basis, and I
Yeah.
do it as well. And one of the common things for us, and I'm sure you might deal with this a little bit, Ryan, as well, because you do make hats made out of hemp, and that there's a lot of people there. Well, can I smoke this hat?
I've had policemen smell the hats and ask me that question before.
So that's sad. It's so sad that they don't know the difference.
But also, I mean, look at what some of our schools are teaching us. They're, ignoring, slavery. They're ignoring parts of our history.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a
surprise,
slavery
they're
thing, but
ignoring hemp.
they brush over it. They brush over the topic. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, the consensus from conservative people. Again, I'm going to bash on some Republicans here for a
please
second.
do.
Is always,
Please
well,
do.
why do we have to talk about the bad parts of history? Because that's history.
Because that's where you learn from.
I know. Isn't it? Oh.
Well, and the thing is, history to me is kind of like you always have to read between the lines in all history because it's always written in the eyes of the victor. Mm-hmm. So what's the real history really? And that to me, I've always been fascinated by historians for that reason because to me, a good historian is somebody who says, yes, this is how history has been written and what it is. And then they delve in deeper and say, but this is actually the real story behind it.
Exactly.
And
But
we probably don't know the real story.
and we never know the real story. You can, it's like you could say you're a conspiracy theorist, but come on, let's be honest. Everything is written by the winner, so of course they're going to paint themselves in the best light. That's why I used to crack me up when George Bush used to say, well, history is going to tell the true story. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not going to really tell the true story. It's, it's people who lived can tell the true story. But then later on, it's always going to be washed over and glossed with a nice soft glow so it looks as happy and nice as
Or
possible.
it will tell the real story and be like, yeah, that guy was a fuck up. Also
well, he
a war
was.
criminal, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sorry. Did I just get anyone's dander? I hope not.
No, pretty sure you didn't. Pretty sure you didn't. You're still looking for that link?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I know.
I think the link's going to say exactly what I just said, though.
I should be more participatory
There you
in the
go.
process.
Good word.
You're welcome.
That was your big word for the day.
That was my big word for the day. Should we get a
Participatory.
whiteboard where we talk about big words?
We could.
Just get a score point for each one?
Absolutely.
I love it.
So, now that we've been just talking to ourselves here, let's talk to our guests. So you guys, did you put together the 710 Cup together?
Pretty much. I approached Dougie and at his house in
Beautiful Los Angeles,
Yeah.
outside LA, actually.
outside LA. It is beautiful though. And basically came to him with like a vision and asked for some help from him, and he was pretty much the motivating fact that kind of like pushed me over the cliff to be like, all right,
Yep, we're gonna do
we
this.
should really do this.
Right.
And it's kind of funny. We were just in San Francisco together for the High Times Cup this last week.
How was that, by the way?
It was well.
It was a good event.
Yeah, it was beautiful sunshine. I always love the people up in San Fran.
I do too. They hate when you say San Fran, by the way.
Do they?
No, I got called on that from some people from saying it's San
please.
Francisco. It's not San Fran.
Well, I
it's
lived
not
there for 1 year,
Cisco.
so maybe they'll
It's
give
San
me,
Francisco,
like,
and I was like, okay,
Oh
now,
my God.
and I was like, now get over yourself.
I know. How
I was like,
pretentious can you be? Just
Exactly.
because you live in San Fran.
Yeah,
SF.
exactly.
SF.
SF.
But yeah, and the weather was great the first day. It was a little drizzly the second day, but unfortunately, Dougie actually had a torch tube stolen. But other than that, it was a good event, I'd say.
The risks we take.
The risks you take, right?
But he did win an award too for.
Oh.
We got
last
best
day.
glass.
Nice.
Feeling
Nice.
good
So
about
first,
it.
not second. Not third,
first.
first.
First at this one, you know.
It's nice.
And but it was cool that some people that were at your house that day when we were talking about it were like, man, so this is really happening. I remember when you came over to Dougie's house and you guys were just on the whiteboard writing all these ideas down, and it's like
I have a whiteboard that's right next to like a little bar. I'm not a big drinker. It's kind of just a hash bar at the house, and got a dry erase board right there, and that's where a lot of
I love the
Hitman
whiteboard for that
designs-
reason. I know.
Yeah,
I
that's
gotcha.
where a lot of Hitman designs have been drawn up,
Right on.
and a lot of ideas for the 710 Cup also.
Right on. Right
so
on.
that's kind of where it got its start, and then yeah, the rest is history. Here we are, about 2 weeks away, and counting down the days, and
Yeah. Well, and
Crunch time.
we were talking about having you on for next week, but obviously we're actually not doing a show next week because it's 4th of July.
happy 4th,
Ah,
everyone.
yeah. Oh.
The hemp flag will be flying.
I actually
over the
wasn't. I actually
Capitol
wasn't
that
going to
day.
tell Samantha and just have her show up and
Just-
just be like, "Why is nobody here?"
So mean.
I know.
I would do it too.
You totally would. I know.
And I'd sit here and cry, and then
But
I
yeah,
would go
so,
on the radio.
So obviously you were
Yeah.
very gracious to come in tonight. With less than 24 hours notice. So I appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, but
appreciate it, man.
I love the idea of what you're doing in the 710 Cup. Obviously, we do our own competition, but we kind of do everything. We do edibles, concentrates, and flour. You guys are focused on the concentrate side,
Just concentrates and edibles.
and you are doing edibles. I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
Ideally, concentrate edibles.
Well, yeah.
I guess you use
edibles that
concentrates to make the edibles.
most
That's
people
why
do.
we
Some people,
included
I mean,
it.
you could say any of it's a concentrate, I guess, but you're right. What are you doing there?
It's nothing.
She's listening to someone else's radio show.
No,
She
I
is.
probably was.
You were playing the video from Huffington Post Live, weren't you? Yeah.
It accidentally played on my phone. I found it and I
I
started
see,
playing.
I see. But yeah, you guys wanted to focus on concentrates. What was the reasoning behind just focusing on concentrates?
I mean, really, to be different. We also see, just like Dougie's Glass Company, his company focuses on oil and concentrate pieces.
We started my business when it began to get popular,
Right.
and we kind of grew into it getting popular. I take pride in kind of being a catalyst for, getting a good amount of these glass blowers to start to make some gear, and it was just the timing, man. I mean, but just like with what Ryan said about being different, I mean, his hats, they've put their complete own vibe on Grassroots.
Oh, they
and
have.
like the same
They have.
thing with Hitman, like something I can say is true to both of our companies is we take pride in doing something different
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to price battle someone else for the same exact product.
Right. And so, it's like
That's awesome.
what in the world of
Right,
business
and I
there's
just think
there's
that's a
red
good
seas
business
and blue
plan,
seas. I don't know if you ever heard this analogy. The red sea is a competitive market that everybody wants the same piece of the exact same product line or whatever, and then the blue sea is like, well, we're going to create something new that hasn't been seen, and that's kind of like what you guys have
Yeah,
done.
and it's almost like intertwining markets,
Yeah.
but we kind of saw a niche or an opening in those markets, just like how New Era didn't want to support marijuana hats. I saw that opening. Dougie saw that there wasn't people making oil pieces. He saw that opening. Same thing with the music industry and the weed industry. There's been so many marijuana events out there. And none of them really included music. Ours, has over 40 bands, and
Yeah,
it's deciding to focus just on concentrates.
Well, and I think that's what's interesting is it's like a music festival that has a concentrate competition going on. I mean, that's more of what it feels like than like it's a competition. From what we've talked about with 40 bands, that's really like what you're going for is like
for
this is
sure.
an entertaining thing. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And plus, that's what he lives, and his whole team travels to so many different shows.
When we're on tour.
When
Yeah, when
you're
they're
on
in
tour.
quotes on tour, no
Yeah.
boy band reference.
Yeah.
But their whole team stands behind it, and I stand behind his whole team also. Watching Ryan's company function is also inspirational for me as a business owner, and I feel a good bond with Ryan, and I think there'll be a lot of good things in the future from Grassroots and Hitman.
Right on.
So
right on.
for a 710 cup, is that what it's
710
called?
cup?
710 cup.
It's
newbie.
oil spelled backwards.
Well, I know. I'm not that, marijuana retarded.
Just checking.
So for a 710 cup newbie, can you explain like the basic layout of your event? Like when does it start? How long does it last? How many? Oh,
okay,
we're going for a break.
Good
soon?
question,
So
but
when
we're
we
going
get
for a
back from the
break. But yeah, let's have them answer the question. So when we get back from the break, Samantha's going to ask her question again to
We'll give
remind
you guys the
everybody.
details.
And they'll give us the details.
The deets. Can
I
I, say
love
that?
the deets.
You can
I
say
love
deets.
The
You can say
intel.
the deets.
When you're
The
sporting
intel.
when you're sporting that
The
mustache.
411. What other cliches can we say? What else can we say? All right, so we'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for listening.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On Grass. Runongrass.com.
National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
All right, we were still talking, I guess, but we're back. So Samantha asked a question. I'll let you ask him again because you'll do it better than me.
I asked, so for a 710 newbie, if you could explain the layout and, when the event starts, what's involved, the schedule, things like that. So somebody's
sure.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a multi-day celebration of cannabis concentration on July 12th to 14th. It's at the Right Group Event Center. We just switched the venue.
You did. You were at the Expo, I thought, right?
Yep. We're
Right
at
Group.
a bigger, better, and all in one place.
Oh, good, because that was my next question, because you were going to be in two spots. Okay.
Yep. Now we can do everything in one location.
Right.
And
Where is the Right Group Event Center?
That's off of I-70 in Colorado. It's just 5 minutes away from where we were holding it previously at 4800 Colorado Boulevard. And we're doing a pre-party for the judges on Friday night, where all the public judges, we're bringing them out and treating them to a dinner on us, and really trying to establish like a community base and have a more intimate setting and getting to communicate with some of our fans that are coming to our event. And then later that night, we're doing like a VIP and public party just to kind of get things going. And then the main event is Saturday and Sunday, July 13th and 14th, from noon until 2 a.m., and then from noon until midnight on Sunday.
Cool. That's interesting that you're doing that. It's funny because we're doing a wake and bake brunch for our judges for the Hemp Connoisseur Championship. Because I like
Classy.
that. I like that you guys are doing that too. I mean, I think you need to show that appreciation for your judges for taking the time out to like focus on. Obviously, it's fun to be a judge. no
We
matter
make
what,
jokes
but
about breaking bread, but on a real level,
That's the way it should
there's something
be.
to be said for that.
There is.
So.
There is. It is. I agree.
Yeah.
It's all about the community.
I
and-
remember I was a vendor at this event in Czech Republic, and it was the first event that I'd ever been fed at a dinner before like the event started, and there was a whole show in itself, and I was just like, holy cow, like what a awesome way to get the weekend going.
Yeah.
Like, and I was a vendor, like I was like,
Yeah.
I felt really treated well.
Well, and that's the nice thing is when you go on tour, like you guys have on tour, like you guys do, you get to see how different people are doing different functions like that, and kind of take the best and take little pieces of each one, and kind of go, oh, I like that idea. Let's incorporate
Exactly,
that.
and I mean, I hope people can learn from us, and I'm sure that every day we're gonna learn from other people's events, and even people come to me and they're like, "Hey, can I donate back to charity too with my company?" I'm like, "Please do. I want you to be bigger and better than me. I hope that I'm just a stepping stone to bigger things for people."
Right. That's cool. So the layout of the land, so it's all going to be at the Right Center.
Yes.
Yep.
And from the
We got
time frame
some-
that you're starting,
We
so
got
do you,
some cool new things we just added.
Uh-huh.
The clinic is going to be doing a remote control racetrack with some cars and some
fun.
helicopters.
That's fun.
There, we're working at getting the greenest greens trying to get a swimming pool out there, so there'll be a little pool party.
We're trying.
Ooh.
That's gonna
Just
be
gotta make sure
Some
that
logistics.
I was just gonna say
Gotta make
logistics is
sure
all
they
that's popping in my head on that.
Logistics,
Totally,
et cetera,
totally.
et cetera.
And then we one of the first events to have over like 10 glass artists going to be from all around the country coming in to be blowing glass, and we got awesome seminars from some of the best hash makers from around the world, teaching people about the safety, different methods of making it, and really just
which hash
educating
makers?
people. Amila and Hashbean over from Europe. We got Big D from here in Denver. We have Nicotine from out here. Just really the whole family. And every year we really want to be bringing in different people and really showing their art and their expertise.
Very cool.
It's such an honor too to have Mila out.
That is an honor. A lot of people don't know who Mila Jansen is, but
international judges.
She's the godmother of
first
hash.
year for us. It already is very sentimental for Ryan and I. And even to have Mila agree and Hashman was a real honor.
We
for
felt
us.
the same way. We felt honored because Mila actually shared her journals from her travels in South America, going on top of the legalization. We actually printed that in the magazine, and it was funny because I think a lot of people were like, "Who the heck is this person you guys are talking about?" And we're like, "No, you have no idea who this person is. If you don't, you need to know." And
She's an unbelievable woman.
Unbelievable, and I have not even had an opportunity to meet her personally yet, which is a real bummer.
Well, we'll
so
try
we,
to
oh
see if
yeah,
we can
it'll
squeeze her
happen.
on,
Yeah, seeing that we
following
we
week.
published her journal, I feel like I should actually get the chance to meet her in person. And I know she's an amazing woman. I've heard nothing but good things. My writer who got to interview her in Amsterdam just said she was one of the coolest people he had ever met, and just loved sitting down and talking with her. And he's like, anytime you need me to interview Mila, let me know, because he just had such a good time with her. So down to earth and just so relaxed and just
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Well,
awesome.
you'll be out at our event too.
Oh, I will be. We will
so,
both be there. We're going to be covering it via cannabistube.net, actually. So
Nice.
we're going to be doing a little camera work and some interviews and
So
hopefully get her on
we
camera.
maybe get her out there for that.
I would love to have her out there for that.
We can have the puppet. We can have Bud Green's interviewer.
Bud Greens can interview. No, that would. I don't know about that. I don't know. The puppet can. No, the puppet will be fun, but no, she deserves a human.
I know. I
She
just really
deserves
like
a
the
human.
puppet.
I know. She'd just be looking at us like, "Are you guys
The
literally having?"
puppet can interview me.
There we go.
Can
Bud
he rock
Greens
one
can
of your
interview.
hats too?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. We need a small hat for him. A little green
new
Elmo
size.
looking guy. Yeah. But yeah, we definitely should have Bud Greens interview. I think that would be fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can we can have Bud Greens work on what is the name of this piece, by the way? Do you have a name
This
for it?
is a recycler torch tube.
The recycler torch tube.
yeah.
We should have him review the recycler torch tube. I think that'd be fun. Just can't let him touch this part because he'll go on fire. Yeah. We can,
There's
what was
it
that with your
remind-
hand over your mouth? You can
You
make it happen. You can make it happen.
Those remind me of it's so intricate. It reminds me of those when people do the shot luges.
Yeah.
Where they're all intricately carved and stuff. Can you guys do that with ice with Can you do it?
Ice
Yeah.
with glass.
Well, can you make one of those out of ice and then just like for a party purposes
Wow.
only, or with a blowtorch
Wow.
ruin it?
Challenge.
That is not my field.
That I know, right? But that's an interesting thought, I guess.
I'm
I mean,
assuming
cool.
if you just give the plans
That would
to
be pretty cool.
a smart ice
a lot of work,
sculptor,
though.
he
A
could
lot of
figure
work
it
for something
out.
that's gonna melt.
Absolutely.
But that's an interesting idea.
I'm just saying. You can
I
just,
know.
It's an idea. I'm an idea. Remember, I'm an idea person.
You are an
not a
idea. Yeah, you're
detail
not going to
person.
go ahead and make it. I know. You're just like, hey, this would be cool. Why don't
Put
you guys
that
work
one on the
it?
whiteboard.
Yeah, that's on the whiteboard. The hard thing is it's ice and there's a flame. That's, I think, where you're going to have
Well,
the
if you do
difficulty.
it right above, you might. I don't know. Maybe you have to account for melt. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an ice mathematician.
An ice mathematician.
Yes,
That's a field that nobody works in.
ice-matician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice-matician. Right.
A scientist.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
No.
You're
Should I
reaching.
stop?
I think you should stop now. Before
I'll
it gets-
just
yeah.
go to my corner now.
So, how are you doing separate categories on the concentrates?
Yes.
And how many entries are you guys looking at right now?
Dougie actually has been calling them. I think we have.
Yeah, it's coincidentally kind of hard to get in touch with some of these people. A few days
I
before
wouldn't
the
know what
event.
you're talking about dealing with going on to my second year of this. Oh, no. Yeah.
But I think we have 30 entries, but
Right.
each person's allowed to enter more than once.
And at least 5 or 6 people are entering all categories.
Gotcha,
You know? And,
gotcha.
I know as a fact that out of like those 30, there's got to be at least 10 more that
Right.
are just the normal.
Right.
And is
stoner,
So what kind of
last
categories? I'm
minute
assuming you
kinda
have
guy.
like a shatter or a wax category.
Yeah, we have it set up. We broke it down into a butter wax, and so there's an indica
We have
butter
that
wax.
too, actually. Oh, we didn't
indica
break it down
butter
by strain,
wax,
though. That's interesting.
And a sativa. And everything is pretty much a hybrid nowadays.
It
so we
is.
went
When it comes to concentrates,
We
yeah.
went what's primarily
Right,
like if
right.
it's
Dominant, the dominant side.
predominantly sativa or
Right.
indica, and then we have a shatter sap category.
a shatter sap category.
Shatter/sap, and that would be like a shatter or like literally like a more sappy consistency.
Right,
We're
right.
talking consistencies. We
Right.
kind of broke it down by that, and then
Yeah, that's
we
kinda how
did
we
a
did it.
non-solvent / water hash.
That's
so that
what we
could
did.
be anything like
Yeah.
a keef or a keef hash, dry sift, or bubble bags.
Yep.
And then there's a CBD category. And there has been a couple entries in that, which is good, and
That's-
it just
yeah.
it show it. I'm happy to see an interest in people really striving for that too, and
Well-
especially in Colorado, you see a lot. It's very frequent that people come over to the spot or bring some hash over, and there's a CBD right there.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's interesting. We had that same thing last year. We did the CBD, and I think each year it's going to get bigger and bigger on the CBD side. But we did a CBD flower, which we actually eliminated this year because not many people smoke CBD flower. Honestly, it's better when it's put in a concentrate form. So we just said, okay, let's just get rid of the flower form. But we only had 3 entries in each CBD category that we did, and I'm very excited about the idea of having more than that coming out because we want more and more of these dispensaries and concentrate companies to focus on the CBD side. I think we'll be taken way more seriously in the medical world if we do that, and I know it's recreational and medical at the same time, but to me, I think the medical side is what gives us validity to make people say, okay, the recreational is cool because they're doing some good things too. So I like that you guys are doing the CBD side. I definitely do.
Yeah, and then there's an edible category, and there's a indica and sativa for each one of those. So the butter wax, shatter sap, and non-solvent water
Gotcha,
hash, and then CBD is just a general category.
Sure. Same here, yeah. That's interesting. It's
Yeah, so
great minds think alike.
It's also been a huge battle to try to figure out how to break down the public judging kits, and get we're taking pride. This is the first event that's gonna have the public almost 200 people tasting.
That's
the
not
entries.
actually true.
Is it not
No,
true?
no.
Okay.
We had 135 judges last year, so you're beating us right now.
Just got put in my place.
No, that's okay. No, it's cool though. You know what? It's been said by a lot of different competitions
But
actually.
is yours for the public or patients?
Oh no, it's patience. You're absolutely right. Next year we're going to the public because we didn't. The recreational side is not truly.
Gray area.
It's gray until next year. So you're right.
gray.
When you say public, you're right. If you mean patients, then that's different.
But
so
we
I love that you
appreciate
guys.
the patient side because I think we're on the same page.
We're
And
all
I
on
think
the
a
same
lot
page.
of those
Someone's-
judges are absolutely.
Oh, they're
Patients.
patients.
Patients,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. Well, and patients tend to I don't know. I think when it comes to the public side of concentrates, sometimes it's just we're just trying to get as messed up as possible. And the patients, they're using just as high a dose, but it's actually because they have a medical reason that it's actually making a big difference. So I sometimes feel like the patient judging sometimes has, I wouldn't say more validity, but has more aspects to it when they're judging it because they're judging it for the relief of whatever ailment they have.
Absolutely.
For our CBD category,
and
for
that's-
our experts, we're making sure that's a patient.
And that's what we're doing the same thing. It's because you needed to be a patient because if you aren't, because we had people who didn't have this. That was my mistake last year. Is there weren't so many CBD categories, so we like the flower we put in with the sativa category because it's daytime relief. If you like sativa, you probably don't want to have that heavy stone of an indica. So the CBD might be a good one for you to be able to also judge on. And a lot of them were just kind of I didn't get high from this, and I'm like, well. yeah, it's
supposed
CBDs.
to.
And then we explain that anyway, but it doesn't matter how many times you explain it. They judge it for the effect that
And
they
I'm sure
want
if
it.
you didn't tell them they wouldn't get high, they probably would have.
Yeah, I know, right? They're like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, it was great.
Like the drunk girl at the party with the lampshade on her head, drinking non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
So is this just exclusive to Colorado, or are there going to be people from out of state sending in entries?
It's going to be, it's open to the public. We're really trying to make this, for the people entering, not just like all the money players, the dispensaries. Although we love them,
Of course. All right.
we're making this affordable, so it's only $275 to enter, and anyone can enter as long as you're 21, and then you just have to be in the state of Colorado to do your entry. So we're not going to take anything from the mail or anything like that.
Right. Well, I'd like that at least.
But it's also been nice that we've had a lot of people making sure that they were following law, and like
Right.
people, it's really nice to see, especially online, people being like, look, I want to make sure I have my card if I'm not 21, and like it's just really cool. People are going the extra mile to be part of the event.
Well, and I think that's good. I think that shows that there's been this attitude here in Colorado of legitimacy when it comes to like, okay, let's follow the regulations. Let's make sure we're in it. Whereas there seems to be like, there's another competition out there that when they come here, it's kind of like, well, we don't really care what the rules are. We're just going to do this. And it's nice to see that you guys are like saying, okay, well, let's make sure we're legal. I know there's gray areas right now, but even in those gray areas, it really is acceptable.
It's cool that I went down to the fire department and got a permit for glass blowing, and they were stoked on it. It's like
great.
The city's getting their money.
Yeah.
There's so many people out here, even at those other events that just what the tourism brings. That we do feel like if we can show that this community really does care, that it can only bring better things.
I agree. And I think the perception of the cannabis industry in Colorado has absolutely changed for the better. I think there's still some residents here in Colorado. Perfect example is I have some neighbors we love dearly. We were actually hanging out with them last night, and they're like, well, we love to smoke, but we feel like we should go in a corner because our neighbor next door to us just moved here from like Nebraska or some other state. And I looked at him and was like, well, would you hide in a corner and have a beer? And they were like, well, no. And I'm like, well, then stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's just the same. And if they're coming here, when in Rome, deal with it, is the way I
do think that there should be a business for green-friendly landlords.
I agree, actually. I think there should be. I think that
for even apartments.
The apartment
houses.
leases are going to have to be rewritten, because I used to manage property. And
Oh yeah, I just actually re-signed my lease, and they had an addendum on there for marijuana, and I handed it to my landlord, and I said, actually, that's unconstitutional now. You can't tell people that they can't possess it inside.
You can't tell them they can't possess this, but I do
but
think
it said possession.
No. As a landlord, I think I would have the right to tell them they couldn't grow.
There's a difference between growing
I think
and
that's
smoking,
true.
which
Yeah.
you can prohibit
Right.
smoking.
Because
but
we wouldn't
they
allow,
said, it
I
was
wouldn't
in
allow
the-
smoking cigarettes. But I used to
Yeah.
say this to my tenants, actually. Because I am who I am and I have my beliefs. And I was like, we do not allow smoking of cigarettes in the apartment. And the person just kind of looked at me, and I was like, so no smoking. I was like, no smoking cigarettes. And I was trying to say, look, you can smoke, because I know it doesn't stick. It doesn't smell up your apartment. Cigarettes do.
Oh,
And
man, it's horrible.
It's horrible. So as a landlord, I don't want to walk into an apartment or a condo that I own and rent out and like smell that they've been smoking cigarettes. I mean, I don't care about the marijuana side of it.
Yeah, I was just up in Black Hawk the other weekend, and we accidentally set the fire alarm off. And, we got it out quick, and we were leaving because we had dinner, and then the manager comes running up. And there was like 15 of us running out of the room. But not running, like going to dinner.
Sure, Ryan.
Sure.
Well, and, as the responsible, man I am, I was the last person, cleared everyone out, and the manager was like, where do you think you're going? I was like, oh, going to dinner. And he's like, oh, well, he's like, we got to go in there. And I was like, I got, nervous because it's like, oh, gosh, what's going to happen? But in my back of the head, it was like, all right, I'm in Colorado, 21. So he goes in the room, gets on the radio. He's like, all clear. I hear all these, all clear, all clear, all clear. Okay. And then I thought I could go. And he's like, oh, no, the city's rules are the fire department has to come. And so I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I have to wait like 5 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, man, this is like embarrassing. This is a waste of time and money for the fire department.
Sure.
But it was the city rules, and I mean the fire department came, and I was in a smoking room, so I mean I was allowed to be smoking, and they were just like, oh, yep, next time just, they said that marijuana smoke's thicker is what they said.
Well, it is thicker, but it doesn't stick.
Yeah, no, so they said just make sure you blow it out the window next time, and you're good to go. Like, they didn't charge me anything.
Well, they couldn't because...
They were cool.
Well, they can't because, unless it says no smoking...
In that room.
In that room, and if you had a smoking room, you're okay already. But if they don't have a stipulation, no smoking of cannabis in our hotel, then it's like, well, you didn't say I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, of course, you'll start seeing rules like that popping up, I'm sure, in some hotels. But, yeah, I mean, we had actually a similar experience when we had our first party. It was our first 420 party. It was like the day before 420. It was 2 years ago, and we had it at Jet Hotel. So we had a couple of hotel rooms, and Hoodlamp was doing a fashion show, and so we had a room for their models and everything. And right around near the end of the party, not near the end of the party, it was around midnight. It was still going to go for a couple hours. We had a little fire alarm, and I
remember that.
Do you remember that?
I was there dressing models. Yes,
you were there.
I was.
And it was funny because everyone was like, "What happened? Where was that?" And they were like, and one of the hotel guys was like, "That was actually in your room." And I'm sitting there like, "Well, which one?" And they're like, "The one on this floor." And I'm like, "That's Hood Lab." And I was like, I already told Adam. I was like, try to vaporize in there or don't smoke too much. Blow it out the window. And it was funny because next thing you know, I see all of Hood Lab just like bolting out of the hotel. And this is before I got to really
bet they weren't running either.
Yeah, no. This is before we. That's what's funny that you told me the story.
It's called
like,
a hurried walk.
It was a hurried walk. It was a very hurried walk. And next, they had disappeared. And I think he didn't know that we had known. This is before I got to know Adam and Cece, which now, I mean, who cares? And we didn't care really. It was kind of a bummer because it did kind of end our party in a way.
Yeah.
Because of course, fire department comes and everyone's clearing out, and it was like, no, it was just people smoking in a hotel room. But it is funny. They need to change those smoke detectors now so they know what they're detecting.
Is that possible?
Green
No,
flashing
totally not.
light.
Green flashing light. We got to go on break. We'll be back in just a moment, though. We're already way behind, but that's all right. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
River Rock Wellness, located at 4935 York Street and on the corner of 6th and Calumet, right next to Lamar's Donuts at 990 West 6th Avenue, offers in-house, award-winning organic medical cannabis flowers, concentrates, tinctures, topicals, edibles, and raw superfoods for all patients. Prices range from $160 to $240 an ounce, with member and non-member benefits including caregiver, SSI, SSDI, vets, travelers, and sponsored programs. With brands you trust like Healthy Creations, Rare Dankness, Rock Butter, Priva, Token Daily, and more. Become a River Rock patient or renew with us today and receive a $100 ounce of choice. Offer good through April 20th, 2013.
Whether you are a commercial grower or cultivate as a hobby, No Dough Urban Garden Supply is Denver's first stop for your hydroponic grow needs. With a wide range of products including House and Garden, Botanicare, and Fox Farm, their knowledgeable staff can get you started on your first garden or help you with your well-established business. No Dough Urban Garden Supply is located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street, 4 blocks north of Coors Field near MMD of Colorado. They are open 6 days a week from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 303-296-3424 or visit them on the web at www.nodoughurbangardensupply.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, we are back for our last segment of the Hemp Connoisseur. I really want to go to 2 hours. I think it'll be fun when we do
2 hours?
Well, what, 1 hour too long for you? Well, you working up a sweat?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Oh, I'm so lazy.
Yeah,
A 2 hour long podcast? Is that normal? What's the normal podcast?
Well, this isn't actually officially a podcast.
It's not a podcast?
No,
How do we
this is
make it into a
show.
podcast? It's a radio show?
We're working on that part.
We're working on that part?
Could you do 2 hours, part 1 and part 2, film it at the same time,
Yeah.
and then release them
I
separately?
think we actually could. And what we've talked about is actually 1 hour we have a hemp guest on, and another hour we have a marijuana guest on.
Oh, yeah. I guess I could do that then.
You could do that?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, right. Sam says it's okay. So
If
we're,
Sam
we're,
says it's
we're
okay, it's
gonna-
okay.
We're
Thank
moving
you.
towards that.
I
yeah.
appreciate it when you acquiesce to my high demands.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my other big
Very-
word for the day.
That's your acquiesce.
Just got to step up my vocabulary. Over
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Put it on the board.
We're getting very,
we have a deep lexicon over here.
Yes, we're very verbose.
Ooh.
All I have is San Fran.
So 3 days for the cup, for 710 Cup. The first day is for your judges only.
And then we're doing a VIP party after the dinner.
Where's the VIP party?
All at the same location.
Are we not allowed? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I didn't know
we'll
if
see.
we were allowed to talk about it or not.
We'll see if you're VIP or not.
I'm totally VIP.
I don't know, but it might be more than 2 hours, so I don't know if you can handle it.
That's actually the definition of VIP. In and out, you know?
In and out.
Yeah, in and out.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's what she said.
Oh! That was a jinx right
Christian
there.
and I are looking at each other just getting ready.
Yeah. He was all prepped for it. So
could
then
be half hour of comedy too.
I know, right? We could do a half-hour comedy. So then the second day, we have 20 bands.
Yeah,
both
about
days.
20 bands, give or take.
There's came right out there. I apologize. I don't know where that was from.
So good.
There's I think we have 45 total bands, and it's about 50-50 for each day. And we just got this Denver improv comedy crew called the Fine Gentlemen's Club. They're going to be performing both days as well.
Oh.
So we're going to have live comedy now. Yeah, it should be a great one.
Cool. Now, when are the announcements made? I'm assuming on Sunday?
Sunday, I believe we're doing the awards at 7:10 on Sunday.
Right around 7.
Yeah, let's just say right around, because we're,
plus
come
or
on.
minus an hour or two.
Plus or minus. That's
right
fine.
around 7.
If it's 8:10, it's late.
Exactly.
All right. But that's cool. So what are you guys doing for the awards? I'm sure the grand prize winner gets one of these beautiful babies.
Absolutely.
Right here. Nice.
Overall best concentrated 710 Cup gets a hat deal with Grassroots, where they get their own line of hats.
That is a great
It was really cool, man.
It is a great
And
prize.
yeah, I mean, for a long time, I wanted a Grassroots hat. But now I have a bunch.
And I have to say that because we're already working with you for our championship, and we want to create custom hats from Hemp for our judges, and then whatever extra we'll be selling at the championship. That was one of the things they're most excited about. I'm like, we're going to do this wake and bake brunch. We're going to educate you on how to taste cannabis. We're going to refine you. That's when you get all this medicine. You get a whole month to try the medicine. And if you get your votes in on time, you're going to get a limited edition custom hemp hat from Grassroots California. Like, all of a sudden you hear people like, woohoo! On the phone, and I'm like, they're excited about the hat. And I'm like, I'm almost like feeling like, what? So you don't care about the medicine with the brunch?
You're like,
it's the hat.
Have you seen these hats? These hats are amazing.
Of course I've seen the hats. That's why we're working with them on the hats.
My favorite one is the one with the little Sir mustache and the little monocle.
Nice.
I actually won that one
like
out
the
of
stash.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is funny because we have our little monocle guy with a top hat that we sent over
yeah.
his logo, so that's probably going to be on there. But I don't, I'm excited to see
We're going to
that.
start working on your guys' hat probably
After the cup.
right after the cup, and if we can squeeze it in right beforehand. But I mean, really, it's awesome for us because we are a community, and I think that probably why people are excited is because it's like you get to see friendly faces at these events now, and now whenever we go to the San Francisco Cup, you see all the hats walking around, and probably that if you're in need, you probably can go talk to that guy, and he might have a joint for you if you just got off the
You're
plane.
right, actually. It might as well. I mean, for those in the know, they see someone with one of those hats, like, that guy's holding. He's got it.
Sure.
He's got something. Or either that or he's looking for somebody. It is cool. But, I just wanted to mention that because people have been super stoked about the fact that they're going to get a Grassroots hat. And so that's a great prize, obviously, to have your own line.
Yeah,
I mean, that's huge.
They get to keep 100 of the hats to either sell, give away, or donate, whatever they want to do. And we'll also be keeping a portion of the hats to get their name out there, too.
Yeah.
Where, like Dougie was saying, the winner also is going to get a Hitman torch tube, the grand prize winner. Mm-hmm. So, a little Hitman love, a little Grassroots love.
And then all the other awards are Hitman pieces, and they're not torch tubes, but they're all really nice pieces that have D-Rec and Paco helping to sandblast up for trophies, and they'll be like, everything specific for each category, and
We're really excited.
Are they going to put them on a base that says like second place, just as part of the base?
Basically, thank God the bong's kind of on a base already.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's going to say it on the bong.
That is going to say it on the bong. That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Every time you bring that out, oh, you didn't see that little.
Deal.
No big deal.
Like,
what do you want to use to smoke?
Oh,
this one. Oh, pay no attention to the fact that it says second place on there or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Oh. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is fun, and those are the stuff that people love is those custom pieces. You know, we did the vaporizers from Silver Surfer with the same kind of thing. It was like official judge. And
speaking of that, where we have judging rigs, we have the event rig for the event for the judges and for the competitors.
Cool.
And
so, is every judge get the same kind of rig for what category?
Everybody that got that package, and I think there's
100 rig packages, so there'll be 100 judges that will get a judge's rig.
Nice, that's very cool.
And are we doing a show with them or are we just going to be hanging out?
What? At the 710, we're doing THC on the town.
That's what I thought.
Well, okay, so we might as well make this announcement too. So Sam and I, we are working with CannabisTube.net, which is a awesome website that is going to be designed as, let's just say, it's like the web's version of like Comcast for the cannabis world. And so the first channel is going to be actually the Hemp Connoisseurs channel, and there's going to be more channels to come on there, but it's not open source with any Yahoo can just put a video up of them smoking a bong, no offense, but hey, that can be kind of old and boring and it's a waste of space. So we're actually trying to put content on there like we do in the magazine, and other channels are going to be coming on doing similar things. And our first show, we're breaking our own like broadcast cherry, I should say, when it comes to
filthy.
I know. Totally. We've really degraded since you've joined the show.
I know. Terrible human being.
And we're going to be broadcasting from the 710 Cup, and we're going to be putting our first show together, kind of covering the event. I mean, there's so much to cover that that's why we're pumping you for questions.
It wasn't a lead. I swear it wasn't a lead. I was just
no. I know it isn't.
Really curious.
But we are. We're going to be doing our first broadcast from there, so that'll be our inaugural show.
Was I supposed to bring the schedule? Or something?
You were supposed to bring the schedule.
Yeah,
totally didn't bring the schedule.
We have so much going on.
Oh, I know, dude. I get it.
I can email that to you. I think we're trying to announce it tonight. Publicly,
no, that's fine. We just need the schedule because we're going to prepare our little shot list.
No one listens to this anyways.
Oh, what is that about?
Oh, just kidding. My mom totally listens to this.
Your mom listens to this? Great. Yeah. So she's listening to you talking dirty, and that's what she said.
That's normal.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
All right, excellent.
She's a proud parent.
She's a proud parent.
So proud.
My dad will call me with like a post-game show sometimes after a show if he's listening to it, and he's like, by the way, Dave, you sounded kind of stoned today. I'm like, actually, I wasn't, Dad. I was just tired. I was stoned the other day. But he does. He's like, you talked kind of dirty the other day.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm getting married that week too. So.
What?
Oh, because it's not enough.
Oh.
Really,
Ryan?
Come
on, man.
It's like not enough to throw have 45 bands in a 3-day festival for concentrates. Let's get married.
That's
He's like, and let's have the family in town for the first year.
That's one hell of an excuse for a bachelor party right there.
I mean,
oh no, honey, this isn't a bachelor party. It's an event. This is very important. I promise. This isn't just a wild, crazy.
But I mean, God bless Renee's soul. She's been pretty much planning the whole wedding while I've been overwhelmed with the 710 Cup. But yeah, my family doesn't smoke, and it will be interesting.
Neither does mine.
Neither does mine, really, either.
View when they come to a concentrate event.
I actually did get my parents kind of high once on a vaporizer when they came to visit me a few years ago. I was like, yeah, it's just vapor, try it. And they did. And they were like, yeah, giggly, and they had a good time. But
we'll put it in the brownies for my
mom.
That's dangerous, though. That's more dangerous.
They got in trouble in Boulder for doing that, so just be careful.
Well, that's when you do it when they don't know it. Yeah, that's terrible. I don't recommend ever giving somebody a medicated brownie without letting them know ahead of time.
Yes, don't do that, children. It's bad.
That's just
we do not condone that.
We do not condone that.
We need like a disclaimer, like little noise thing. Where like every time one of us says something really stupid,
the Hemp Connoisseur Radio does not.
Just a really sound
quick, the Hemp Connoisseur Radio does not condone giving brownies to people that they don't know.
Yes, that recording right there with the want. We just hit that button every time we say something.
Well, on that note, we do have to go. We are actually already over time. And,
we're always over time.
We're always over time because we don't know how to shut up. That's what I'm saying. 2 hours.
All right. 2 hours.
We'll do it eventually. We'll get there. But I want to thank Ryan from Grassroots California, Dougie from Hitman Glass. Both put together the 710 Cup. I recommend if you have not got tickets yet for this event, it's going to be awesome. Definitely check it out. We're going to be there, so that's just reason enough alone. But but there's going to be some awesome concentrates to check out. I mean, are all the judging slots full?
Judging's full, but if you go to the 710cup.com, there are a few VIPs ticket left. And we're just real happy to be teamed up with Weed Maps, really helping with this event. And also the whole Grassroots team and the whole Hitman team. And then all the media guys who've really brought us out to
we hung posters up until I ran out of posters for you guys.
Who are putting us in the Hemp Connoisseur magazine.
Oh, nice.
It's all about love, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. Thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you guys for coming on.
Yes.
I'm actually really excited about coming to this event. There's a lot of fun events coming up,
too.
but this is the first one that we're really excited about this summer. And then we have Bongathon, the Clinics Golf Tournament. Those of you who are bummed that you can't be a judge for the 710 Cup, go to thcmag.com. That's thcmag.com, and you can sign up to be a judge for the second annual Hemp Connoisseur Championship this fall. So you might have missed the boat for 710 this year, but you still have an opportunity to be judges for us.
And Grassroots will be at
their
event.
See, because you know what, we share the love here. I mean, we both are doing cannabis competitions. They're both a little different and varied, and we're both happy to help each other out on it because you know what, you guys are doing it for fun. You're doing it for the right reasons. We're doing it the same way, and I like the fact that we're keeping it in Colorado. Even though your name is Grassroots California, but we forgive you for that.
We're international.
We're international. We will be taking next week off. Happy Independence Day. But we're going to enjoy not being here. Mm-hmm. And then next week, the week after that, we will be here. We will, of course, talk a little bit about the 710 Cup, whether you guys are here or not, because it's coming that week. So until next time.
Oh, I'm Samantha Walsh.
And I'm David Madalena. Peace, love, and
hempiness.
hempiness.